shows such arrogant disregard for believing Christian scholarship. Just dismisses it with the British nose so far up, it's almost French. Sorry, Bridge. I need to please remind me as soon as the program's over to respond to Dr. Tony Acosta's email. I'm trying to arrange to have Tony join us on Thursday on the program to discuss basically Muslim apologetic methodology. He and I both have pretty much observed the same, I'm not sure how to describe it, but grossly inconsistent utilization of sources that marks the almost all Islamic apologists. Their love of liberalism and secularism and humanism and just unbelief when it comes to anything about Christianity. And then they're completely eschewing that and rejecting that when the same scholarship would be applied to their own system. They just do not use the sources in a meaningful fashion, and they don't care. They just don't care. And Paul Blau Williams is one of the best examples of this, because he should know better. It's not like he was raised in Afghanistan and never ran into a Christian while there, or Pakistan and ignored all the Christians, as there's many that have that experience. He doesn't have any excuse for the many times that he not only misrepresents Christianity, but just shows such arrogant disregard for believing Christian scholarship. Just dismisses it with the British nose so far up, it's almost French. Sorry, Bridge. And yet at the same time turning that around and believing things that no critical scholar would ever accept in regards to Islam. It's just, the double standard is outrageous.
What can I say? It's just, if this is the best that Veritas has to offer, and it's not because Jay Smith has taught for Veritas, and I just have to wonder, what does Jay Smith think about all this? I haven't asked him. Maybe I should, because it's just embarrassing. If they want to have somebody do a good presentation on Islam, bring Jay Smith in. I mean, his command of the Quran is excellent. His knowledge of the backgrounds is excellent. And you'll actually get accurate information. I mean, I'm just fearful for anybody at that conference to go out and start trying to talk to a Muslim and get their heads handed to them on a platter.
No debate today. You just listen. See, in order to understand who Muhammad was, you need to go to those sources outside of Islam. Now, everything I've just told you in the last 15 minutes, you can read in one book. And it's written by one of your scholars. Actually, he's an historian. His name is Tom Holland.
No debate today. You just listen. So here we go, Hatun. You have now 4 pages of the Quran that are dated 2 years before Muhammad is born. Dude, these come from Muhammad.
Muslims need to be careful when they see these folios that are dated from, look at the dates, 568, so that's 2 years before the birth of Muhammad, up to 645. That is a good 10 years and more after the death of Muhammad. That in and of itself is problematic, because those dates do not correspond with the classical account.
need to please remind me as soon as the program's over to respond to Dr. Tony Acosta's email.
So let's see what the ruling is on apostasy.
Deuteronomy chapter 13, which speaks about an apostate in your own house. If one of your family commits apostasy, what are you to do? You are to be the first ones to stone the apostate in your own family.
Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to Luke. Jesus stood among the disciples and said to them, "Peace be with you." They were startled and terrified, and thought that they were seeing a ghost. He said to them, "Why are you frightened, and why do doubts arise in your hearts? Look at my hands and my feet. See that it is I myself."
Think about this. Sometimes, my friends, first impressions are the correct ones.
It was a facepalm moment, okay? It was a facepalm moment.
We do see some examples where Daniel, for example, who is a prophet, he mentions in chapter 10, verses 6 through to 16 and so forth, that Daniel, when he went through a supernatural event, it says that Christ, the actual commentary in Matthew's commentary, it says that Christ wanted to show his full glory upon Daniel, and Daniel couldn't actually bear it. He was terrified, he was scared, and basically he couldn't take this. He went pale. So what kind of an experience is that? Is that the devil? Will Christians say that was the devil? So prophets, when they experience supernatural events, they naturally get terrified. I mean, he was a man at the end of the day.
Deuteronomy 21 verses 10 to 14. When you go out to war against your enemies, and Yahweh your God gives them into your hand, and you take them captive, and you see among them captives a beautiful woman, and you desire to take her to be your wife, and you bring her home to your house, she shall shave her head and pare her nails, signs of mourning, mourning the loss of her loved one, mourning the loss of her loved one. Mourning the loss of her loved ones. She shall take off the clothes in which she was captured, and she'll remain in your house and lament her father and her mother a full month. After that, you may go into her and be her husband. After that, you may go into her